There is a specific kind of loneliness that comes not from being alone, but from the uncertainty of connection. You stand before her, you speak, you laugh, and yet a part of you remains paralyzed in the shadow of doubt. Is she just being polite? Is this just friendship? Or is there a fire burning beneath the surface that she is terrified to admit? The tragedy of modern romance is that we have forgotten how to read the ancient language of human desire. We rely on words, but words are easily manipulated. We wait for a text, but we miss the biological signals screaming at us in real time. What if I told you that rejection is often a hallucination caused by your inability to decode the signals she cannot control? Evolution has hardwired women with a covert communication system, a set of subconscious behaviors designed to signal interest without risking social shame. She might not even know she is doing them. But once you see these signs, you cannot unsee them. You stop guessing and you start seeing the matrix of attraction. Today, we are not looking at surface level hints. We are diving into the psychology of the female subconscious to uncover the 7 undeniable signs she is secretly attracted to you. But before we dissect the human psyche, understand that this knowledge is a tool, not a toy. It changes how you view every interaction. If you are ready to move beyond the confusion and master the dynamics of attraction, align yourself with this mission. Verify your subscription now. Join the 1% of men who do not just watch life happen, but understand the code behind it. Now, let's begin the analysis. Most men look for a smile. The master observer looks for the jugular. This sounds intense, but it is rooted in our primal survival instincts. In the animal kingdom and indeed in human evolutionary psychology, the neck is the most vulnerable part of the body. It houses the carotid artery and the jugular vein. When we feel threatened, we instinctively protect our neck. We hunch our shoulders, we lower our chins, and we cross our arms to shield our vital organs. This is the fight or flight defense posture. However, when a woman is attracted to you, her like signals safety and submission to the interaction. Watch closely during conversation. Does she tilt her head to the side, exposing the smooth curve of her neck while listening to you? Does she sweep her hair back? Not just to fix it, but to leave that area distinctively open. This is the neck exposure effect wearing. It is a subconscious biological signal that says, I trust you enough to lower my defenses. It is an invitation, a removal of barriers. Coupled with this is the display of the inner wrists. Historically and biologically, the inner wrist is a zone of high sensitivity and pulse visibility. When a woman is smoking a cigarette, holding a drink, or gesturing, and she consistently turns the soft inside of her wrist towards you, it is known as palming. It signals openness and receptivity. If she were closed off, her knuckles would face you, her arms would be crossed, but the exposure of these vulnerable zones, the neck and the wrists, is her body's way of screaming that she wants you closer, even if her words are keeping you at a distance. We have all heard about eye contact, but let's go deeper than the cliché. Attraction is not just about looking. It is about the autonomic nervous system's response to visual stimuli. When we look at something we desire, whether it is a delicious meal or a romantic interest, our brain floods with dopamine. This chemical surge affects the tiny muscles in the iris, causing the pupils to dilate, expand, to let in more light, effectively trying to take in more of the person. This is called pupil dilation, and it is one of the few body language signals that cannot be faked. You can fake a smile, you can fake confidence, but you cannot consciously command your pupils to expand. If you are in a brightly lit room or outside in the sun where pupils should naturally contract and you notice her pupils are large, dark pools while she looks at you, her brain is in a state of chemical arousal. She is physiologically reacting to your presence. Furthermore, look for the triangle of gaze. In a platonic or business interaction, a person's gaze usually oscillates between the eyes and the forehead. It stays up authoritative and detached. But when attraction enters the equation, the gaze drops. She will look at your left eye, your right eye, and then drop down to your lips before returning to your eyes. This triangular pattern is a subconscious check of your mouth, a biological assessment of mate value, and a subtle indicator of the desire to be kissed. If you catch her looking at your lips while you're speaking, stop wondering if she likes you. She's already imagining the physical connection. Attraction is at its core a desire for synchronization. You want to be on the same wavelength. This manifests physically through a phenomenon psychologists call interactional synchrony or the chameleon effect. This goes far beyond her just taking a sip of water when you do. This is about the firing of mirror neurons in the brain. These neurons are responsible for empathy and social bonding. When she is deeply attracted to you, her focus on you becomes so intense that her subconscious mind begins to map your physical reality onto her own body. Pay attention to her posture and energy level. If you lean back and relax, does she unknowingly soften her posture a few seconds later? If you speak slowly and deeply, does her chaotic energy calm down to match your tempo? This is not just imitation, it is a bid for raw. She is trying to signal, I am like you. We belong together, but here is the hidden layer. Look for cross mirroring. Sometimes, if you cross your legs, she might not cross her legs, but she might cross her arms. If you touch your face, she might touch her necklace. The specific action is different, but the rhythm and intensity of the movement are the same. This indicates that she is hyper aware of your physical existence. Her body is essentially dancing with yours before you have even touched. If you find that the two of you are constantly ending up in the same physical positions without trying, the psychological barrier between you and her has already begun to dissolve in her mind. There is a misconception that a woman who likes you will be perfectly confident and smooth. The reality of psychology is often the opposite. Attraction creates anxiety. It raises cortisol levels alongside dopamine. This mixture of excitement and fear creates nervous energy that needs to be released. This is where we see displacement activities, fidgeting behaviors that serve to self-soothe the nervous system. You might notice her constantly adjusting her clothing, smoothing out invisible wrinkles on her jeans, or playing with a necklace. The most classic example is pining, the fixing of hair. While this can be a conscious attempt to look good, often it is an unconscious release of tension. She touches her hair because the hair follicles are connected to nerve endings on the scalp. The act of stroking hair releases a tiny amount of oxytocin, which calms her down. If she was bored or indifferent, she would be still. Indifference is lethargic. Attraction is kinetic. If she cannot seem to sit still, if she is constantly fixing herself, when you look at her, she's not just vain. She is experiencing a physiological spike in energy caused by your proximity. She is essentially preparing herself for you, ensuring she is the best visual version of herself while simultaneously trying to manage the butterflies in her stomach. Watch for the quick check. When you look away, does she quickly glance at a reflection or adjust her top? That is the sign that your opinion of her appearance matters more than anyone else's in the room. Proxemics is the study of how humans use space. Anthropologist Edward T. Hall defined 4 zones of personal space: public, social, personal, and intimate within 18. In Friends, stay in the personal zone. Attraction is the desperate need to breach the intimate zone. However, because women are often socialized to be the selector rather than the aggressor, she might not just walk up and hug you. Instead, she will manufacture accidental proximity. This is the proximity paradox. She will position herself near you in a crowded room even when there is plenty of space elsewhere. She will find a reason to show you something on her phone, forcing your heads to be inches apart. But the most telling sign is the removal of barriers. When we sit across from someone we don't feel a connection with, we subconsciously build a wall. We place our coffee cup, our bag, or a menu between us and them. It is a shield. A woman who is attracted to you will do the opposite. She will move the vase of flowers to the side. She will put her bag on the floor, not on the table. She will uncross her arms. She is clearing the visual and physical path between your chest and hers. If you are standing side by side, watch her feet. Are her toes pointed towards you? The feet are the most honest part of the body because we rarely think about them. If her torso is turned away, but her feet are pointing directly at you, her flight or fight mechanism is deciding to stay. She is anchored to you. This is a psychological shift that most men miss because they are too busy trying to impress the woman. When a woman is secretly attracted to you, she stops, evaluating you and starts trying to qualify herself to you. She wants you to know that she is high value. In a casual conversation, she will subtly insert information that makes her look desirable, capable, or nurturing. For example, if you mention you like healthy living, she won't just say, "Cool." She will say, "Yeah, I actually just started this new yoga routine, and I love cooking fresh meals." Why did she tell you that? She is marketing herself. She is showing you that she fits your criteria. If she mentions other men finding her attractive or a story where she was the hero, she is not just bragging. She's triggering social proof. She wants you to know that she's a prize. Listen for the deeper questions to if she asks, "What are you looking for in a partner?" Or, "Do you get along with your family?" These are not small talk. These are screening questions. She's running a mental simulation of a relationship with you and checking for deal breakers. A woman does not waste mental energy screening a man she has no intention of dating. If she is trying to impress you, or if she is deeply curious about your core values, she's already emotionally invested in the idea of us. In our modern age, we cannot ignore the digital landscape. Psychology extends to the screen. Attraction in the digital age manifests as orbiting and consistency. You might think attraction means she texts you back instantly every single time. Not always. Sometimes, if she likes you, she might deliberately wait to not seem too eager playing the game. But the key is consistency and initiation. Does she send you things that have nothing to do with logistics, a funny meme, a song link, or a picture of her lunch? This is called a bid for connection. She is not asking for information. She is asking for your attention. She's thinking about you when you are not there and feels the urge to reach out. Furthermore, look for the double text or the resurrection. If the conversation dies, does she let it stay dead, or does she restart it a day later with something random? A woman who is neutral will let the conversation fade. A woman who is attracted feels the silence as a loss. She will resurrect the chat because the dopamine hit she gets from your name appearing on her screen is addictive. Also, watch for her engagement on your social media. Does she watch your stories? Usually, the people who view your stories first or most consistently are the ones most interested in your life. She is orbiting your digital world because she wants to be part of your real one. The matrix of attraction is happening all around you constantly. These 7 signs, the exposed neck, the dilated pupils, the mirroring, the pining, the barrier removal, the qualification, and the digital tether are not random. They are the biological and psychological footprints of desire. When you stop looking for the obvious and start noticing the subtle, the world changes. You realize that you have been missed opportunities simply because you were waiting for a billboard when she was sending you a telegram. Do not force these signs. Do not obsess over one single cue. Look for clusters. Look for the pattern. And when you see it, have the courage